Awaiting his fate, lawyers wrap up presentations in cartel's appeal. Court reserves decision but says case will be given priority. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on air and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Archibald Gordon.
And I'm Doreen Samuels. Also this evening, dry spell again. TVJ News asks what is happening to the solutions proposed in prior years.
Reprieve. Windalco granted waiver critical to its continued operation.
Playing politics. Government slams opposition on its stance against the level of increase in the minimum wage.
Out of space. Police say effort to stamp out illicit trade hampered by lack of storage.
And in business news, slipping again. The dollar continues to come under pressure.
There's also sports commentary and weather in the primetime package. But before the break, the feedback question.
This evening we're asking, what was your experience with seaweed on a beach you visited recently?
Share comments online, facebook.com/televisionjamaica and tweet at televisionjam.
Please stay with us. Primetime News returns after this break.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
Special welcome to folks on onespotmedia.com.
Up first this evening, the fate of entertainer Vybz Kartel and his co-accused is now in the hands of the three-member panel of judges of the Court of Appeal.
The President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Dennis Morrison, says though he cannot give a specific date, some priority will be given to the ruling.
The 7-day appeal hearing concluded today after lawyers for the appellants responded to the arguments made by the prosecution.
A controversial text message that prosecutors say was sent from Kartel's phone dominated the final day of the hearing. TVJ's Vashon Brown was in court today.
There has been one big question throughout the appeal hearing. When was this message created? We chop up the boy lizard fine. Lawyers for the appellants last week said it was created on July 6, 2011. Prosecutors on Friday said it was August 19, 2011. And today, the court heard that it could have even been August 23, 2011, based on the evidence that was presented in the 2014 trial, and more dates.
Including September 30th, which said that there was a modification date and a creation date and an opportunity for the information, the messages to be manipulated.
With so many different dates of the possible creation of what the lawyers called this most material evidence, they argued that this text should not have been put to the jury. Prosecutors last week sought to make a distinction between a file and messages within a file. They told the court that July 6, 2011 was actually the date the data file with the controversial message was created, 6 weeks before Lizard's murder. The actual message, which was in the data file, they argued, was created 3 days after Lizard was killed. But today, the lawyers for the appellants told the court that a detailed analysis of the transcript of the 2014 trial did not note any difference between file and message. The cell phone itself was again under scrutiny today.
What we are saying is that the learned trial judge had a question of law to answer for himself. And that was whether or not the evidence had raised a reasonable doubt as to the integrity of the exhibit.
The trial judge in his summation said it has been admitted that the integrity of the phone was compromised.
That is what was relied on in my submissions to say that that was a finding by the learned trial judge, that the integrity of the exhibit itself had been compromised. And based on that, the exhibit ought not to have been given to the jury.
Another attorney for Shawn Campbell
They deliberately overlooked many of the text messages and calls. And the law is that the defense should have seen all the calls made on the phones. They just handpicked a few. That's suspicion as to what was not chosen, because the police officer said it was the investigating officer who told him what to look at. That's not how the law is.
In the meantime, President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Dennis Morrison, said that the panel has decided to reserve its decision. He said he could not give a specific date for a ruling. Justice Morrison said there are over 6,000 pages of transcripts and a large number of submissions. Kartel, Kahira Jones, Sean Campbell and Andre St. John were convicted for the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams. They are seeking to have their murder conviction quashed. Vashon Brown, TVJ News.